Hello, everyone. Good morning from Dhaka, Bangladesh. It's a pleasure to have you all with us in this morning live, and welcome to Beyond 2021. And for the second time, Inspiring Bangladesh, in association with Bangladesh High Tech Park Authority, is organizing this summit, virtual summit, 3 days long summit, where we will have different dignitaries from different part of the world. And without a further ado, we will invite all of our panelists in this sessions. Would like to invite first our very own His Excellency Ambassador of Japan in Bangladesh, Mr. Ito Naoki. Hello, Mr. Ito Naoki, to our live. I hope you can hear us, sir.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. And we are looking forward to a great session. Next, I would like to invite our from all the way from Caribbean, the Secretary General of CTO, and it gives me an immense pleasure to introduce Madam Secretary Bernadette Lewis, who has appointed in August 2020 and is the first female Secretary General of Commonwealth Telecommunication Organizations in 121 years history, and National of Trinidad and Tobago. Secretary General Lewis was also the first female Secretary General of the Caribbean Telecommunication Union (CTO), a role that she held for over a decade. Welcome, Madam, in our live show Beyond with the 2021. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's absolutely a thrill to be part of this very exciting forum. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. Hope you will enjoy. Now, I will invite all the way from Texas, USA, Mr. Jordan Olivas, the CEO of KistPay, one of the most amazing fintech company. Welcome, Jordan. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, wassalamualaikum. Nice to meet everyone. Glad to be here. Excited. I'm excited.
All right. Awesome. Now I will invite the country director of Dell Technologies Limited, Mr. Atikur Rahman. Welcome, Atik Bhai. Can you hear me? Hear us?
Yes, Imran Bhai, thank you for inviting me. Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and it's a pleasure to represent to be in this session for the second time consecutive year. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Atik. And now I will invite Barrister Hamidul Misbah, the president of Bangladesh IP Forum, in this session. And Bangladesh IP Forum is one of our partner in Beyond 2021. Misbah bhai, I hope you can hear us.
Hi, Imran. Thank you for having us here. Good morning and Assalamu alaikum to all the dignitaries, His Excellency Itunauki, and other partners and sponsors of this, and also distinguished speakers. So,
Right.
hope you all will enjoy with us. Thank you.
Absolutely. We are looking forward to a great session. We will start this session with an opening remarks of our very own Mr. Atikur Rahman, the country managing director of Dell Technologies, about the overview of digital Bangladesh, the prosperity, and the huge future we are expecting in coming days under the leadership of our honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. So we'd like to know more about, as an industry point of view, as Dell is one of the most prominent brand who is working in our countries from very early age. So would like to know more about from your point of view, Mr. Atik.
Thank you, Imran Bhai. First of all, again, I'll thank you for inviting me in this event. And the name says it's all beyond 21. Actually, we are progressing, and as you mentioned, the digital Bangladesh. Uh, Dell itself is will celebrate its 10 year actually in Bangladesh in November 2021. So we've been here for last 10 years, and I've been in industry for last 20, 24 to 21 years. So I've been seeing the growth and the change in Bangladesh IT industry. if we look into current situation, I was in another session with the MGM few days back, and 16% of global online workers actually from Bangladesh. I don't know, that is a huge number. And currently in 2020, actually 50% of our population has digital experience through mobile. And definitely COVID helped a lot in terms of reaching the breaking the digital divide that we had. Now everybody can use digital devices. And in Bangladesh, and other speakers, that 4.5 million DFS transaction per day happens. So if you say it in outside and in internal in our organization also, it's a huge number that 4.5 million people every day using mobile and other form of electronic devices for their digital transaction. So that shows the transformation that happening in Bangladesh. And we must thank our honorable prime minister and our honorable ICT minister for taking that forward, because that's a forward looking vision that government has. And government is helping actually each and every sector. They are actually helping providing the infra, which is which is their primary job, that makes sure that we have an environment, we have the infra ready for that transformation which government is doing. And we are, as I mentioned, we are seeing the changes. We are seeing changes, and if we consider, I see the changes in two ways. One, as a citizen of Bangladesh, the changes that happening, and definitely as my representative of my company, whether Bangladesh is the right place, where we can invest or not. And that's the area where there's the country where we are actually investing. Bangladesh falls under Asian emerging market, and most of other companies also, multinational, Bangladesh falls under the emerging region. And among those emerging region, actually Bangladesh is the top region where we consider the top market, and we are increasing our investment. During the last 2 years COVID, actually Bangladesh is the area where we did not actually reduce our investment. Rather, from this month onward, we are actually investing more in Bangladesh in terms of human resource. And another strength that digital Bangladesh has is the 60% of population are beyond below 25 years of age. That's a huge demographic dividend that we can actually encash. But that's a
Right.
challenge for country also, that this dividend actually will have to encash, otherwise it will become a liability. And that's the area actually where we are actually trying. We Not all company will open factory or other things in Bangladesh, but in terms of investment, human resource is the area where we are actually invest. We are developing resource for the next generation, actually next technology hype that is coming. We'll have to prepare our generation for that one. So with that, I'll conclude my speech. Thank you, Imran bhai, again
Right.
for inviting me.
Thank you, Mr. Atik, for your opening remarks, and it was really amazing have you on board with us in every single beyond. So yeah, with this note, we will go to our very own His Excellency Ito Naoki, Ambassador of Japan, and Japan is being an amazing friend of Bangladesh in every single development stage, different kinds of fundings and different kinds of support. It was amazing. Recently, we have seen the vaccine support came from the Japan's initiative. Would like to know more about, from your point of view, sir, about the upcoming initiatives and how you are seeing the future of Bangladesh from your point of view. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Imran Bhai, for having me. So this is really a promising country, Bangladesh. Dhaka is the most vibrant and dynamic capital of the world. So without doubt, Bangladesh will be the fastest growing economy in Asia during this decade. And it is really amazing that in spite of corona pandemic, Bangladesh has been showing its economic resilience and showing a good recovery from the pandemic. World Bank revised up its forecast, so this fiscal year growth rate will be 6.4%. And IMF recently said Bangladesh will be the $3,000 per capita income in 5 years' time. So $3,000 is a very good merkuma to see the country to take off and to see the consumption market is going to be widened, and those middle class and above will be real driving power of the growth of the economy. The home electronics consumption will grow, say home appliances consumption will grow, even say purchase of automobiles and motorbikes will be growing. I think 3,000 per capita dollar income will really transform the economy and society of the country. So in that sense, I'm really hopeful for the future of the government. And for the infrastructure building, as Imran know really well, Japan has been doing this Dhaka Metro project, International Airport Extension project, as well as the Matabari Deep Sea Port project. So this deep sea port will be the first deep sea port of the country. But through those efforts of infrastructure building, quality infrastructure building, I think infrastructure will be really being transformed between now and 2025, 2026. Again, in 5 years' time, it's going to be a very, very different country. The face of the nation will be completely different. So they said, or the Bangladesh used to be described that because of the lack of infrastructure, so there are bottlenecks of investment. But now, in 5 years' time, you can turn these bottlenecks into advantages. I think that sort of positive cycle is now in sight. But of course, there are some challenges you need to face. One challenge is how you are going to implement digital Bangladesh. No doubt, Digital Bangladesh is a wonderful driver for the further economic growth, and it has shown some positive outcome in the building of IT infrastructure, also connectivity. But at the same time, how further you can move the country forward through this wonderful vision of Digital Bangladesh is a great challenge. How you can make this high-tech park successful, how you can say digitalize or automate government systems is a very, very important challenge, including customs services or even this taxation system, even licensing system. So this is a real challenge for every country, but in particularly Bangladesh, in order for foreign investors to see the improvement of the investment climate here. They really would like to see the involvement of, say, high-tech park authority, ITC ministry, with a strong promotion of digital Bangladesh, so that those systems and those institutions will be digitalized. And also this human resources development, this is another key and a very important soft element for the growth of Bangladesh. So, but how you are really going to put your resources into human resources development. So human resources are important, but also in putting the resources into human resources development is very, very important. So how you are going to combine idea of digital Bangladesh or even digital transformation with human resources development is a very, very important challenge for Bangladesh. So I'm really hopeful about the future of the country, and the economy is promising. Talented individual, young generation, very, very promising. Recently, Japan JICA conducted a training program for IT engineers. So for the last 3 years, we trained about 300 people of Bangladesh here in Dhaka, and some of them went to Japan. Actually, out of 300, close to 200 people were employed by Japanese companies. So that tells you how resourceful this country is, but we really need to project a very coordinated and concentrated effort on some of those challenges which I described earlier. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for joining us and for your wonderful speech. Now I will move forward to our to our special guest, all the way from Trinidad and Tobago, his Secretary General Lewis, to know more about his point of view, her point of view on on the digital skills on upcoming on the digital skills and youth in the Commonwealth agenda. So over to you, madam, to know more about your upcoming plan with this youth community. Thank
Right.
you.
Thank you so much, Fahad. And I just wanted to start with a recent study of young people between the ages of 16 and 25 from 10 countries throughout North and South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia. And this study shows that the environmental crisis is causing widespread psychological distress for young people across the globe. More than half of these young people believe that humanity is doomed and that the future is frightening. And it is clear that the youth need inspiration. So I commend Imran for his vision in establishing the first social network platform designed to inspire Bangladeshi youth and the younger generation and to create a better future through entrepreneurship, business ventures, and self transformation. So thank you, Imran. Imran, I think your work is very
Yes.
important. Even before the COVID-19 pandemic took humanity's center stage, information and communication technologies had been transforming our lives. The ICT revolution has erased the constraints of distance and time and has made it possible for every human being to communicate with any other human being across the face of the earth. It has brought the information of the ages to the fingertips of ordinary people. It has enabled real time interactive communication. And these changes are rapidly eroding the traditional frameworks that govern organizations and countries and how people live. The COVID-19 pandemic has also now demonstrated to us the imperative for adopting information and communication technologies to digitally transform every aspect of our lives. And digital transformation requires digital skills. And this brings me to the topic I have been asked to address: digital skills and youth in the Commonwealth agenda. Now, over 60% of the Commonwealth's 2.4 billion citizens are under 30 years of age. We are in the era of the fourth industrial revolution, where the physical, digital, and biological spheres coalesce. Information and communication technologies are changing the very nature of work. It is changing the workplace and the future of work. And many traditional jobs will disappear. But new jobs will emerge requiring digital skills. And our young people need to be prepared for this unfolding environment. They need to possess the digital skills to be able to function in the emerging environment and to contribute to the social and economic development of their countries. Building digital skills is a collective responsibility. No single organization can build the digital skills that are required now and in the future. And I want to speak to the roles of different organizations in building the digital skills of the youth. And let's start with governments. And I have to commend the Bangladesh government for their Digital Bangladesh program, because governments must demonstrate their commitment to digital transformation by being early adopters of the technology and using technology to deliver services to their citizens, whoever they are, wherever they may be. And this will require affordable universal broadband connectivity. It will require that the citizens have the ability to use the digital systems, the access devices, um, and also that there is appropriate content that so that the citizens could capitalize on their access to these digital facilities. And if the government is an early adopter, this by itself will raise awareness of technology and foster widespread adoption across the citizenry. But the governments must also look to reforming the school's curricula so that it reflects the demands for digital skills. The government must be able to offer scholarships to youth to pursue ICT courses and employ them strategically on their graduation. They have to be prepared to train trainers to expand the training on digital skills, and also subsidize broadband access on devices in disadvantaged communities, because you want to be an inclusive government. It's also important for the government to introduce programs that support innovation and entrepreneurship amongst your young people. And it's also important to celebrate indigenous ICT innovation. And the government can partner with private sector, international organizations, with other countries to run programs for digital upskilling. And I want to use the example of some of the things that other countries are doing. Rwanda initiated a program called Digital Ambassadors, in which they hired young graduates. They equipped them with smartphones and laptops and gave them broadband access. And they trained them on how to introduce digital skills. And they sent them out into the communities to train young people in applications that were relevant to their experience. And Rwanda also established a digital coding academy that supports the industry. Across the Caribbean, we have seen the establishment of school-based clubs that teach coaching, the refurbishment of computers, and other digital skills. The local private sector also has a role to play. They can contribute through partnerships with the government for training or equipment, or to provide apprenticeships for young people. The civil society also has a role to play, and we've seen in other regions faith-based organizations and community centers developing school or homework centers for teaching digital skills, and they've had good success. And other countries and international organizations, the big tech companies, the United Nations, they are all playing an important role in providing programs that cater to building digital skills and promoting innovation amongst the youth. The Commonwealth Telecommunications Organization, of which I am the Secretary General, is the oldest telecommunications organization, and we are also doing our part in building digital skills in the youth and promoting innovation. And also in entrepreneurship. Capacity building and training are a significant mandate. And the CTO develops and delivers ICT training programs for its members. And Bangladesh is a member of the CTO, and through its representative organizations can request training from the CTO. In the coming weeks, the CTO will be launching its online learning resource center that will be offering essential workplace insights and self-paced short courses for enhancing employee skill and performance in the digital age. The CTO also hosts a biennial Connectivity and Innovation Idea Youth Challenge, a competition that seeks to promote young talent in ICT innovation and entrepreneurship. The competition is open to young people from the CTO member countries, and winning entries have received a monetary prize and will have the opportunity to develop their prototype to uh, from through the support of the CTO and also their host governments. So, I'm very happy to hear of the work that is happening in the CTO and in Bangladesh. So, and I just want to say that the CTO is doing its part. And I would like to commend again the government of Bangladesh for the Digital Bangladesh program and the work that it is doing in digital transformation. But as I close, I want to go back to this study that revealed that more than 50% of the youth surveyed are in psychological distress. And I want to refer you to other studies that show a relationship between excessive use of social media and depression among teenagers. And I want to offer a word of caution. As we upskill our youth to embrace ICT, we have to be mindful of the potential negative societal impacts. Provisions must therefore be made to protect our citizens, our youth in particular, their intellectual, digital, and physical possessions, and their privacy. And due care must be exercised to ensure that in this era of hyperconnectivity, we do not become disconnected and isolated from our fellow men. We have to ensure that in this day of communication, we do not lose our ability to communicate with our children, our friends, our colleagues, our neighbors. That in this new global world order, that we do not lose our cultural identity, our individuality, or our humanity. We have to be careful that in this technological age, we do not lose our souls. So I encourage the youth, Bangladesh's digital natives, even as you make use of the technology, love your fellow men and have hope in God. I thank you.
Thank you, Madam Lewis, for your wonderful words. Now I'll move to Jordan, all the way from Texas, U.S., to know more about his upcoming plan to launch his fintech company, KistPay, in Bangladesh. So over to you, Jordan.
Thank you, and wassalamu alaikum, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here. For those of you who are not aware of who KissPay is Pakistan's largest buy now, pay later company, and we are the fastest growing fintech in the country of Pakistan. I'm originally from the U.S. I've been in fintech for close to a decade, and we've recently raised 15 million US dollars to expand into Bangladesh and to provide 100 jobs by next year. So one of the things I've been really happy about is that, going into emerging markets like Pakistan and Bangladesh, one of the things that you'll find is there was a lot of hesitancy about, someone with the U.S. experience going into a market like Pakistan initially. But in a matter of 6 months, we have supplied over 100 jobs. We've partnered with over 1,000 retailers. And not only that, but we have also been partnering very closely with the government relations, because I'm a big believer in working very closely with government. For them to set the framework, and then, as it was said earlier, for the private entities to go out and execute on it, improve it, and provide recommendations back to the government to find a great way to have a essentially helping hand to provide a better quality of life for all of the consumers that you work with on a day-to-day basis. One of the things that I think is really interesting about Bangladesh is that the demographics are very similar to Pakistan. So there is a annual fintech rating scale that is announced every year. Last year, Pakistan was ranked number 77 on the list, Bangladesh, 78. The other thing that's really interesting is it is also a very young population. 60% of the population is under the age of 30, very similar to Bangladesh. The one key difference, though, in Bangladesh is that the GDP per capita is significantly higher than Pakistan. So what we've been able to show is that in emerging markets, we've been able to not only develop a culture that rewards performance, but we've been able to create a culture that really drives innovation and drives more jobs and more external capital into the country to help drive things forward. Me coming from the U.S., I did grow up in a impoverished household, and so I do have a resemblance of a knowledge around what it's like to not have the resources that other people had growing up, and I have that comparison basis because of the fields that I've worked in. And so for me, I always view fintech as the great equalizer, right? As you know, there's been a lot of fraud and mistrust with some recent Bangladeshi companies that unfortunately have broken the consumer and the government trust, and we hope to fix that. So what ultimately what we do is we drive digital transactions, which I think is very important because every digital transaction means one, consumers no longer have to go to a bank to spend that extra 30 minutes each way walking to or riding to the bank, right? They can spend that time improving their skills, spending time with their family. And then, of course, on the government side, the government can collect its due taxes, right? Which means better infrastructure, better schools, and a better quality of life for everyone. Now, don't get me wrong, no one loves to pay taxes, but it's an important part of an economy. And it's how you grow things. So one of the things that we really focus on is when people ask, what do we do? I ultimately say we are building a translator between the consumers and the businesses that they shop with. So we allow consumers to pay in 4 monthly interest-free installments. So what that means is that the consumers aren't going out and getting a credit card, right? They aren't going to go out there and get in some sort of massive deep debt or have some sort of crazy absorbent late fees or interest charges. For us, it's about cash flow management. So instead of going off buying those clothes for your kids at full price, you can take that extra 75% savings that month, go invest it in their education, go invest it in your retirement savings, go and invest it in really anything else that you need, and use it as a cash management tool. And what this has shown is, at the end of the day, right, there is negative press for buy now, pay later, but the pros far outweigh the cons because it's not about making money on the interest. It's not about making money on late fees. It's not about getting consumers into debt. What it's really about is helping enable consumers to manage their cash flow more effectively because Pakistan is a Muslim country. So we don't charge interest, right? We are a Sharia compliant organization. And for us, it's about also not just providing 100 jobs. Many companies can provide 100 jobs. Our job is to make sure that we're providing quality jobs with good healthcare, good benefits, good pay, and we are elevating our employees to do better. Because what I really look for is that in 2 to 3 years, my employees can go out there and say, "Hey, I worked for KISSPay," and they can get a job anywhere that they want. And the other things that we do, it's about social economic responsibility. So giving back to green initiatives, or one of my favorite things that we do is we give an annual scholarship to a female employee to go back and go to school. One of our employees, Zara, is going back and getting her master's degree. She's getting her MBA, and she's working full time. And we're giving her the flexibility to work with us still and go back to school. So these are the things that we really try to do. And once again, it's all about the great equalizer of fintech. And this is a thing that I really believe in. And I love emerging markets. Of course, everyone says, you're going to Pakistan, you're going to Bangladesh, are you crazy? It's got to be so dangerous. But I walk around at night and I have no issues. People are extremely friendly. I genuinely enjoy my time there. And, I can't wait to go to Bangladesh. We're launching later this year. And I have made a commitment to providing 100 jobs no later than next year within the country. And I am extremely excited. As in Pakistan, we're working with Lenovo. We are on the verge of closing a deal with Dell. We work with major retailers like Sapphire, Uniworth, as well as companies like Diesel, which is a high-end fashion brand. So we've also expanded into grocery and education for parents to be able to afford providing a great education to their children. So for us, it's really important that we aren't just providing installments on electronics and clothing, which is they're essential goods, but also the things that people need to live on it every day, which whether that be food, whether that be education, or whatever that may be. And these are the things that we're really looking forward to bringing on. And I cannot wait for us to be fully alive in Bangladesh and to work closely with the government to bring jobs, bring economic prosperity, and hopefully change the way that consumers trust e-commerce and the business that they already like to shop with.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you, Jordan, for your wonderful words, and we're looking forward to invite you in Bangladesh to explore the opportunities. Now now it's time for our panel discussions. Like, as we are moving into the second part of this session, so we will start our panel discussion. So my first question would be to our His Excellency. Mr. Ito Naoki, to know more about the upcoming initiatives of Embassy of Japan for our countries and youth. So, sir, I would like to know more about yours from your side.
Thank you very much, Imran. So, next year, Japan and Bangladesh are going to celebrate 50 years of their diplomatic relations. So, my hope and expectation are that next year we are going to, say, elevate the level of our cooperation and partnership. So we do some cultural events, film event, music event, and so forth. But above all, we should make the most of this milestone year by promoting further business partnership. And in this IT area, now increasing number of Japanese companies are showing interest in making investment into this sector. So I know the couple of companies are looking at making investment into high-tech park in this country. Now, high-tech park authority has been developing 12 high-tech park across the country. So the Japanese companies are also looking at making some manufacturing points there. After Corona, it's evident that companies need a more resilient supply chain. So companies need to widen the manufacturing points, particularly in Asia. So Bangladesh will be natural destination of investment coming from other part of Asia across the Asia. So my government is going to support those efforts to be made by Japanese companies. And some companies are even talking about the smart city development in high-tech park of Bangladesh. So, and I know the Mr. Pollock, ICT minister, has been making very good initiatives in connecting Bangladesh company and Japanese companies as well. And also, one of the areas we want to focus next year is startups. In Japan, the startups are really changing the country. Now, according to one of the US survey companies, Tokyo is ranked the number 9 city in terms of the environment of startups. And I know there are 2,500 startup companies in Bangladesh. So as other countries, startups are really changing the society, country with new technology and innovation. I'm sure that Bangladesh startups will be able to play a new role. So I'm really hopeful that even Japanese companies are going to make investment into startups here in Bangladesh. But the thing is that, as this gentleman from Oregon said, so the Bangladesh is not really well known. So there is an image issue, there's a branding issue here. So I do really hope that even startups in Bangladesh will be more visible, so that prospective investors will seize the opportunity to make investment into those young but promising startups. And I'm sure that startups will have a more competitive ability through digital transformation and so forth. So I do really hope that your guys are going to organize some roadshow of startups, not only in Japan but US and other countries. But I do really hope that those young professionals are going to have very, very engaging discussion for 3 days. Thank you very much.
Mr.
Thank you,
Ambassador,
sir. Yeah.
that you hit a great point. 4 of the top 20 largest banks in the world are based out of Japan. So it's a really exciting time. MUFG, I think, being at the top of towards the top of those charts are, they've backed some amazing startups around the globe. So the great thing is that the infrastructure is there. It's a matter of finding those companies that can go out and make major investments, because the biggest difference with emerging markets is that, $10 million goes a really, really, really long way in emerging markets, and it can provide a lot of great quality jobs. So, Mr. Ambassador, thank you for your commitment to helping making
Thank
this a
you.
reality.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we'll move forward to Mr. Hamidul Misbah Bhai, as the president of Bangladesh IP Forum, to know more about his thought. By this time, I would like to introduce one of our partner on the most fastest growing browser in this world, Ritz Browser CEO and founder, Mr. Rashidul Majid. Welcome, Rashid Bhai, in this session. So, over to you, Misbah Bhai, for your opening remarks. Yeah.
Thank you, Imran, once again. Well, um, I am actually the founder of Bangladesh Intellectual Property Forum. It is a not-for-profit entity that we established back in 2010 and 11. So this year we are actually celebrating 10th years of Bangladesh Intellectual Property Forum, and it's a 10 years long journey. So in gist, what we do actually, we in broad line, we promote creativity and innovation. We help brands in terms of guiding them to enforce their intellectual property rights within Bangladesh. We work with government entities for framing and shaping good intellectual property policies. Not only that, we also work with industry, which means the creative fraternity, music industry, film industry, also the other industries like they're involved into industrial properties, startup communities. We have a project called IP Plus Law Clinic, which gives pro bono support to startup companies with the legal needs. Also, individual creators or innovators. And
Right.
now, coming back to your question, Fahad, the way I look into this beyond, in order to look beyond, I would little reflect on the past. So my journey with Bangladesh, digital Bangladesh, has been quite fascinating as a professional, as a lawyer, and also personally. So I have had the opportunity to get involved and work very closely with the policy that actually works as the backbone of digital Bangladesh, which actually inspired all of us, including the leaders, to adopt and the manifesto for digital Bangladesh. And I'm talking about back in 2009, at the beginning of 2009, or at the very end of 2008. So a big credit and thanks goes to our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and her team, the ICT Ministry, and the very able and dynamic ICT State Minister, as well as the Telecom Minister, and the team members. So they have done a tremendous job over the last decade. We now have, just to give you a clear idea, we now have 178.61 million mobile phone users and 125.41 million internet users. Almost 100% of the geographic locations of Bangladesh are covered under the connectivity. And you've already mentioned, and few other panelists already mentioned about the demographic dividend, that we have more 65% of the people who are youth, which is a huge opportunity for us. And this is where we actually have been mostly working with, because youths are more innovative and creative. And even those youngsters that are actually, from becoming 18 to 19 teens and, early, like 20 age bracket, these people are very potential. And we've seen working with them that, working with them is very easy compared to their older generation. And they learn very fast. So this is where actually we have to look into. So now beyond 21, actually very promising for us, for Bangladesh as a whole. The economy is booming. a lot of foreign investment are coming, and they're looking into, as Mr. His Excellency Naoki Ito has also mentioned, that they are planning a lot of things for Bangladesh. A lot of other countries are also planning. So this is where we have to actually look into and focus on. Plus, we have to, in particular, the area, fourth industrial revolution, fifth industrial revolution. This is where I think we need to think more about and
Right.
allow our youth to practice and hone their ability. So once
Right.
again, thank you very much for having us. Um,
Yeah. Thank you,
and
Mr. Bhai,
it's
for
been
your amazing thought, and we will know more about in the upcoming session of yours. So now move forward to Mr. Rashidul Majid, the fastest growing browser, rich browser, the founder. So how you are seeing the market of Bangladesh and overall as a Bangladesh-based company? So like how you are utilizing the demographic dividend, being a Bangladeshi company, Mr. Rashid.
Thank you, Imran Bhai. Thanks for inviting me in this wonderful session. First of all, I'd like to start with my gratitude to all the guests. And yes, Reese browser is a Bangladeshi browser, though we have a global users around the world, but we are focusing on Bangladesh market. As we already know that we have the demographic dividend here, like we have the opportunities, like the teenage users or the young users actually adopted the earliest technologies here. So these are the advantage we are having here, like in this market, especially in the internet. For the mobile user, we users are more focusing on the privacy, like it's a major concern here. Whatever we do on online, we are actually sacrificing our privacy here. And another thing we found out that users are missing is the benefit for from the internet, like the content and internet and the um, talk time cost, and these are the barrier for the those users. They have to pay lots of money to get access to the internet, get access to the resources they must have. So we are actually giving those things in a package, like if they use our browser, they will get reward points and they will also be able to protect their privacy. So what they
Right.
can do, they can make their internet costs for free, and they can also make their talk time costs for free using the internet. And we also providing some contents to them for free that they must have to have on their mobile device, like news and live TV and radios and other content. Those are available in the internet. So we just aggregate them and provide them to enjoy those things for free of cost. And we also giving the opportunities to them to protect their privacy, like they can block their cookies from our browser settings. These two things, these are the simple things, but these are the missing from the current market. So I believe that Reels browser has a long biggest opportunity in the Bangladesh market. So we are now focusing on Bangladesh, and we are actually doing the marketing. But we developed the product last 4 years. Though we have our major users from the India, but right now we are focusing on Bangladesh market, as Bangladesh is growing and users are adopting the technology, and they are now concerned about the privacy, and they are now concerned about their benefits on the internet now. So I believe that we have a biggest opportunities, and Bangladesh is the virgin
Bangladesh.
market. Nobody is doing the marketing right now to educate them about the privacy. Nobody is doing educate them to teach them about the internet benefits. They can get the content for free and it's legal. So we have the opportunities, and we are working together with you, Imran Bhai. We are partnering with you,
Yeah, yeah,
so we believe
absolutely,
that we can go together. And
absolutely.
yeah,
And this
so
year's,
thank you,
yeah,
Imran.
and yeah, thank you, Rashid Bhai. And like this year's theme is like collaboration, investment, and growth, and we are focusing on collaboration this time. So we are coming to the end of this session. I will close this session one by one. My next question to our General Luis regarding regarding how can People Republic of Bangladesh work with CTO in developing digital skills agenda together. What's your take on that, General Lewis? Uh, you're mute now.
Right. As I said, the CTO is an intergovernmental organization, and Bangladesh is a member of the CTO. So through the government, there's access to so many of our programs that would really help build the digital skills of the young people in Bangladesh. I want to go back to a point raised by an earlier speaker with respect to the whole notion of privacy. Yes. And the CTO is very, and not just privacy, as we encourage people to make use of the ICT resources, we also have a responsibility to help protect them and help them protect themselves. So the issues of cybersecurity is of paramount importance. Um, and therefore, the CTO does a lot of work in the area of cybersecurity, public awareness and education on things that people need to do to protect themselves. These are absolutely important for the young people. So, by requesting, as I said, there's the opportunity to request the assistance of the CTO. We do public awareness roadshows and raising the whole notion of even what parents need to know, because some of and I heard it, the older people, yes, they have no clue. I wouldn't say they have no clue, but they need to be made aware, and they have to be careful in how they what shepherd their young people through in this digital environment. It's very important so that they can protect their privacy, protect their intellectual property. All of these things are very important in this exciting era. Thank you.
Thank you, General Lewis. We will close this session with the closing remarks of His Excellency Itonauki. Moving forward, I will go to Mr. Atikur Rahman to know more about his thought, the future of Bangladesh, and a few words if you want to add in this remarks.
Thank you, Imran Bhai. As all the speakers mentioned, actually, Bangladesh future is in Bangladesh, and from our side, actually, since things are getting digitalized, we'll have to prepare ourselves as well. We and also our young generation and also our partners. One thing is very important, and which we've been doing, and now we are emphasizing on that one, to educate our partner about doing business in right way. Because if you want to become a global organization, you'll have to understand the trade policy, international trade policy, country trade policy, and what to do and what not to do. So our partners are equipped with them, and we are actually training them on that one, the doing business in compliant way. This is very important. Otherwise, one fine morning you will find that you have done something for which all the companies are rejecting you. So that's very important. And second is the cyber security. The more people will become digitalized, more that threat will come. This is important not only for individual organization. They have to have the cyber resilience system, also for the users, especially women users, how they can trap. So those, as another program, actually we are working with other social bodies to increase the awareness and the cyber resiliency of the company. So those are the things very important right now, since we are moving toward digital world and that transformation. So for companies, doing business is right way is very, very important if you want to become a global organization. So that's it. And
Absolutely.
thank you, Imran Bhai, again for
Thank you, Atik Bhai. Now we'll move forward to Hamidul Misbah, Barrister Hamidul Misbah, to know his thought on this. Very short.
Fahad, since we all are talking about coming to Bangladesh, inviting people here, doing business here, so since also government is an integral part of this session, of this program, so my 2 cents would be that not to have a mindset of too much regulation. Too much regulations actually discourage businesses and investors. Whatever we have, that's good enough, and we need to be robust. Kind of have the mindset of one-stop service or one-window service, and not to have multiplicity of same regulation, which will push away the investors that are looking to come into Bangladesh. Thank you.
Right, right. Thank you, Mr. Bhai. Rashid Bhai, your last thought. You're mute now. You're still mute.
Yeah, sorry. As all the speakers said, I will just agree with them. We have to focus on the three things. As we grow more, we have to face more challenges here, like the securities, like the as I said, the benefits and the privacy. These three things has to be, collaborate, and we have to work with the government that they must focus and they must protect the users' benefits. They must protect the user's privacy, they must protect the user's security, they must protect the user's benefits here also. So
Right.
I think government has to focus on these three things, so we will be adopt the digital things faster. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashid Bhai. Now, Jordan, your upcoming plans and thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think one of the things that's been a big change in emerging markets has been the willingness of government regulators to work with startups. And I think that when you look at kind of everything that everyone said, right, I think everyone's working towards the same goal, but it's about opening up those lines of communication between all the involved parties, whether it be consumer protection, KYB, KYC, investment. It's about proper communication. I think what we've done in 6 months in Pakistan has been a testament to how we're working closely with the government and other parties, and not being afraid of startups ruining legacy businesses, but rather enhancing them. And you've seen this in the US, where many of the legacy banks have actually become bigger by partnering with fintechs, by saying, look, we can't innovate as fast as you can, but we can provide you infrastructure to help you scale faster. And so what that means is by bringing legacy players, startups, government regulators, large and other organizations, it creates a really great recipe for success. And it's always that balance of, as you mentioned earlier, you have to balance that you don't want to overregulate, right? But you also want to put the frameworks in place to make sure that consumers are generally protected. So I think, look, I'm really excited to see where things are going, and I'm very hopeful on what's coming next.
Absolutely, we're looking forward to it. And last but not least, our special guest, His Excellency Tonauki, for your closing remarks. And we will close this session after your speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Imran. So it's been so nice to participate this wonderful panel discussion this morning. I think this is a good start for the 3-day summit, this Beyond 21 this week. So participants focus on some of those key issues like privacy, cybersecurity, and the importance of human resources development, as well as deregulation related to investment, as well as startups and other important areas for further growth. So I think this is a very good meeting of minds among 5, 6 of them, although our backgrounds are so diverse, but we are looking towards the same direction, that is further growth of Bangladesh. And digital Bangladesh needs to play a very important central role for that. I do really hope that under the very strong leadership of ICT Minister, Mr. Pollock, so Bangladesh will be able to promote this digital transformation, which is very much needed for the improvement of government institutions, government system, as well as for the market entry of those startups, and privacy and some very important issues like cyber security. With that, I'd like to conclude this session, and I'd like to thank Imran for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, and thank you everyone and all our guests for your time. And we're looking forward to this Beyond 2021 in upcoming 3 days, 14 session, and like millions of people will watch it in different platforms. With this note, we are closing this session. Hope to see you soon in our upcoming sessions. Thank you.
A successful
Thank
cyber
you.
attack on a U.S.
Thank you.
bank, credit union, or brokerage firm would damage that institution's reputation, undermine consumer confidence in the U.S. financial system, and possibly trigger a global financial crisis. Protecting critical account and customer data from cyber threats such as ransomware presents a serious challenge, given the interconnectedness of world financial systems and the reliance on real-time access to data to keep financial markets moving. To meet this challenge, Sheltered Harbor was formed in 2015 as a nonprofit, industry-led initiative to guide U.S. financial institutions to improve their operational resilience in protecting and recovering critical financial data when a cyber attack or other event causes critical systems, including backups, to fail. Dell Technologies is the first technology solution provider in the Sheltered Harbor Alliance Partner Program, developing Dell EMC PowerProtect Cyber Recovery for Sheltered Harbor, a turnkey data vaulting solution for U.S. financial institutions. Protecting your business starts with protecting your data. Make your cyber resilience strategy a reality with proven and modern data protection solutions from Dell Technologies.
এখন 2টা বেজে 35 মিনিট আর আপনার পছন্দের গানটি রিকোয়েস্ট করুন।
আপনি লাঞ্চের টাইম হয়ে গেছে, বিরিয়ানি গানটা ছাড়েন না।
সো এখন আমরা প্লে করব এক্সক্লুসিভ কাচ্চি বিরিয়ানি, যার সাথে আছে আলু আর ভেতরে আছে জুসি মাটন। সো শুনতে থাকুন।
মাগার বোরানিটা হইলে কইলাম বেশি জমতো।
হাংরি নাকি? হাংরি হলেই হাংরি নাকি অ্যাপ থেকে পছন্দের যে কোনো ফুড অর্ডার করুন এখনই।
কথায় আছে না, হাতে ধরে ঘরে বিপদ ডেকে আনা, সেটাই করেছি। এই পরপর ভাবি রং চা, দুধ চা, অমুক চা, তমুক চা, চিনি কম, পপকর্ন, আর ভাল লাগে না। ওয়ালটন থেকে একটা অ্যান্ড্রয়েড টিভি কিনে সবাইকে শুধু বলেছিলাম বাসায় আসবেন, ব্যাস।
সরি, টিভিটা যখন ওয়ালটন, চাপ তো একটু হবেই। এখন টি20 বিশ্বকাপ উপলক্ষে ঝকঝকে পিকচার আর ডলবি ডিজিটাল সাউন্ডের ওয়ালটন টিভি কিনলেই পাচ্ছেন ঘন্টায় ঘন্টায় ওয়ালটন টিভি ফ্রি। ওয়ালটন টিভি, যা দেখি রিয়েল লাগে।
বই বই করে বলছি, রিমেম্বার, জাস্ট ফলো মি। টাকা পয়সা বাড়ি গাড়ি কার কি দরকার?
একটা বার্গার।
উফ, সাথে এক্সট্রা চিজ হলে।
হাংরি নাকি? হাংরি হলেই হাংরি নাকি অ্যাপ থেকে পছন্দের যে কোনো ফুড অর্ডার করুন এখনই।
এই রেইনকোট পরে কই যাও?
কেন? অফিসে।
আরে বাইরে তো রোদ।
আজকাল ওয়েদারের যে অবস্থা দেখলে না, কাল কি ভেজেটা ভিজলাম।
বলছি না রেইনকোট খুলে যাও।
যদি ভিজে যাই?
খুলে যাও।
বলো বাবা, let's have a solution. Hey Google, will it rain later today?
There is high chance of rain.
সব কনফিউশনের সমাধান এবার ওয়ালটন গুগল টিভির উপরেই ছেড়ে দিন। ভয়েস কমান্ড, লাইভ আপডেট ও ইনস্ট্যান্ট ইনফরমেশনে লাইভ তো হবে একদম ইজি।
ছাতাটাও নিয়ে যাও।
ওয়ালটন এক টিভিতে সব